This is Chronicle on WCVB Channel 5.
Can it be? Affordable housing in Boston?
You're going to have families in this property earning roughly $30,000 a year.
Right around the corner.
You're going to be able to go to live entertainment here.
We have some great public spaces.
You can also be able to do your grocery shopping here.
This is not the North Station we know.
It's almost hard to recognize this neighborhood. It's changed so much.
I look at it as an opportunity to really bring the West End and the North End together.
Preview the options.
Marble bathrooms and kitchens.
Check out the views.
360 degrees up the Charles River, downtown.
Plus the backstory. Boston makes one of the biggest urban renewal blunders in history. North Station, next on Chronicle.
Good evening. It's not often a new neighborhood pops up, especially in a city nearly 400 years old. But that is exactly what's happening in Boston.
Construction is progressing fast and furiously between the city's West End and North End. In its heyday, the West End was more than a Boston neighborhood. It was a thriving enclave of diverse cultures and ethnicities. Now, it looks as though history will repeat itself in a portion of the neighborhood.
Located at the edge of the West End, for years, North Station has been a place to come see the Bruins, the Celtics, or a concert. The area has been through several transformations over the years, but is finally on its way to becoming a real neighborhood.
This neighborhood has had a real evolution to it over the years, and I think one of the first major turning points that we always talk about is obviously the Central Artery and the elevated green line coming down that you can see behind us here, right on Causeway Street. Taking that down brought a lot of light and air to the neighborhood and really made this a pedestrian-friendly environment.
Pedestrian-friendly and resident-friendly, notes Phil Casey, principal of CBT Architects, whose firm designed 2 new properties here.
But with all the residents coming and living here, we've got a real 24/7 thriving, dynamic neighborhood that still in a lot of ways retains a lot of sort of the gritty, authentic nature of the past commercial and industrial history of the neighborhood.
Before 2004, when the elevated green line came down, few could imagine actually living here.
There's a really broad range of mix of housing types, right? So there's luxury condominiums, there's high-end rentals, there's mid-range rentals, and then there's also workforce housing that we're seeing come into the neighborhood. So that really allows for a broad range of people to be part of the neighborhood, to come and activate it, contribute to the vitality that's really at the heart of any good neighborhood.
Mixed use is what will give the neighborhood its vitality, says Casey.
We have some great public spaces that are part of the neighborhood, some parks that are coming up, so people can congregate there, meet there, and meander their way through, whether it's at a coffee shop or going to a game. So a lot to do here. Very exciting.
This massive development is happening on the site of the old Boston Garden. The Hub on Causeway is a partnership between Delaware North and Boston Properties.
The Hub is a 1.5 million square foot mixed-use project. It's the largest of its kind being developed in New England right now, and it's probably the most complex in terms of we've got 3 different forms of transportation coming in here, 2 subways, a railroad station, all coming together.
Brian Koop, Executive Vice President of Boston Properties, is enthusiastic about the innovations planned for the property.
You can basically do everything you can think of at the Hub. You can live here, 440 apartment units here, which will include a deck for dogs called the Woof Deck. We're going to have a hotel concept out of the Netherlands, unique concept called Citizen M. You're going to be able to go to live entertainment here with bowling, but you can also be able to do your grocery shopping here. The largest grocery store in the city of Boston will be at the Hub.
The complex is also expected to offer leisure activities, including the largest sports bar in the region. Charlie Jacobs is CEO of Delaware North, owner of TD Garden and the Bruins.
Between the sports bar, which is going to be somewhere north of 20,000 square feet, the rock and bowl concept, for lack of a better term, that we're doing with Live Nation, there's going to be programming here virtually every day of the year.
The Hub will be a true Boston building, says Koop.
Most mixed-use projects tend to be on the modern side. We really thought this through and said this neighborhood is authentic and the architecture is so unique and should be preserved. We wanted to blend in with the neighborhood.
A neighborhood that's looking brighter all the time.
Causeway was kind of in the shadow of the Green Line. When it would rain, it would leak for days and sort of darken, dreary Causeway Street. And there was a real separation, frankly, between ourselves here at the TD Garden and the rest of the city. I look at it as an opportunity to really bring the West End and the North End together. So I think it's going to be its own little community.
And phase 1 of the hub on Causeway is slated to be complete in 2018.
And as part of that, there'll be a 60,000 square foot Star Market, the grocery store they were talking about, and what they're calling creative office space as well. And then they'll move on. Phase 2 will have the hotel and the residential tower as well. It really is, for those of us who have been around a while, an unbelievable transformation of that part of the city.
No question. And new, in like we said, in such an old city. Workforce housing looks to be the best thing to happen to the region since Tom Brady.
Workforce housing, a new term designed for those who are gainfully employed but can't afford Boston's high housing costs.